Yeshmer Shabbat El Yishmereini Oti Leomeyad Beino Ubeini Oti Leomeyad Beino Ubeini.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat is a time where we try to expand. We don't try to expand our productivity or our ability to achieve more. Instead, we seek to expand things like our patience, even though it's hard sometimes. We seek to expand our feeling of being rested, our generosity. And sometimes we also seek to expand the way we see the world. This Shabbat, we're choosing to be in community, even though some people want Jewish people to be scared to be in community. This Shabbat, we're asking ourselves big questions about reproductive health, even though some people want those conversations to feel narrow and limited and small. This Shabbat, we're taking time to sit and sing and pray, even though the world wants us to be in a hurry all of the time. So this Shabbat, we're expanding. We can do it through expanding our voices for singing together. We can expand our bodies. We can stretch, just like take a moment to move our necks around. We can take a deep breath. And we can say, it's amazing to be together, and Shabbat Shalom. I love when I turn to the cantor, say, take it away. We're going to begin tonight with our candle lighting, and I'm so honored to invite up Maddie and Steve, who are some of our incredible leaders who are in this room. Maddie in particular is one of the chairs of our reproductive justice team, and we're honoring them tonight for the work that they do and that others do for reproductive justice with the women of Temple Sholom, because it is Repro Shabbat. So please come on up, and I promised that Maddie and Steve that the cantor would help them sing the blessings. So we are on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. We're all going to do the honor of saying the blessing over the Kiddush together. So please turn to page 123 as we say there's so much sweetness in Shabbat. There's so much sweetness in this moment. And invite you to rise in body and in spirit for our blessing over the wine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maseh bereshit ki hu yom techila L'mikrae kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
That is, be seated unless your name is Talia Jordan and your names are Sarah and Michelle. But even if your name is Sarah or Michelle, if you're not the parents of this beautiful child coming forward, you can remain seated. I love the excitement. Oh, but now, like, it's the gravity also of what it means to come up onto a bima. Oh my goodness. You're not the first to have that response, Talia, to coming up onto a bima. Oh. Oh my goodness. What is this? Well, I'll say, Talia. It is so exciting. You're right. It is so exciting to be able to be up on this bima tonight to receive your Hebrew name with this whole community of people who are ready to embrace and celebrate you. And you're being held right now by your mom who's given you a good squeeze. And in that way, then we are grateful to give you your Hebrew name. So, are you ready to receive it? Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotinu ve'imotenu, kayem et hayalda hazot la'aviha ul ima, v'karei shema b'Yisrael. Are you ready, Talia? Hadassah, bat Sarah u'Michelle, yismach ha'imahot b'yotzeit halatza v'tagel imahot b'fri vitna, zot ha'ketana gedola tihiyeh, כשם שנכנסה לברית, כן תיכנס לתורה ולחופה ולמעשים טובים. To that we can all say, Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, sustain this beautiful child through her parents' loving care. Let her be known among our people Israel by the name Hadassah, bat Sarah u'Michelle. May her name be a source of joy to her, and may it inspire her to serve our people and all humankind. May her parents rejoice in the growth of her body and soul. And as they are bringing her into this covenant, so may they, with wisdom and expansive patience, lead her to a study of Torah, to a life of good deeds, and to the opportunity to stand under a chuppah and affirm her love for another person. And in that way, we say together, Amen. So, you might be wondering, Talia, how did you get such a great name? Well, your name Talia is for your grandfather, Thomas, who is such a good dad, a good parent, and has taught your mom a lot about how to be a good parent. Your middle name, Jordan, is not only for your uncle, but also for your grandfather from your other mom's side. And what I'll say about this, not only has he taught your mom so much about what it means to be a parent, but truly what it means to be strong. When you say in the morning, Talia strong, we always think of him. And your name Talia is so perfect because you get up so early in the morning that Talia, which means the dew, well, certainly the dew is still out at the hours that you make your mommies get up. And you have a beautiful name, Hadassah. That's both for your great-grandfather, Harvey, who had an easy smile, a love of people, and had plenty of opinions. And he was fine to share them as long as you asked. And also it's for Hadassah, Queen Esther, who was somebody who would speak truth to power, who would make sure to stand up for her people, and in so doing be able to stand up for all people. May you always understand the strength of your voice. May you always feel supported by a community and by your incredible parents. May you always realize that your strength comes from within, and we love all the ways that you will continue to shine. So in that way, we're going to wrap you in a talit, and I'll invite our clergy to join us, and I'll invite our entire congregation to rise in body and spirit as we bless you with a threefold benediction. Oh, doesn't that fit just right? Mm-hmm. And so in this way, we'll invite everyone to put up your hands in prayer as we bless this beautiful family. May God continue to bless you and protect you.
May you feel your life filled with so much light and so much love, and may you continue to feel so much closeness around you.
May you always feel yourself lifted by community, by divine presence, by the love of family, and may that bring you peace. And we all say, Amen. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, simon tov,
Simon tov, mazel tov, mazel tov,
simon tov, simon tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simon tov, yehei lanu,
Yehei lanu, yehei lanu, ulechol Yisrael. Please be seated. We are on page 138 for Lechado D, where we imagine blessings cascading down on our head like a fountain. That is from one of the lyrics of Lechado D. We're on page 138.
Lai, 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 lechado di. Lai, 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 likrat kala. Lai, 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemu tiferet v'litilah. Lai, 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 l'chadodi. Lai, 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 likrat kala. Lai, 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 pnei Shabbat. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikadem nesucha. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לי, 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 לך דודי. לי, 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 לקראת כלה. לי, 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 פני שבת. פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 מדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לי לך דודי לי לקראת כלה לי פני שבת
Please rise.
בואי ושלום, עטרת מעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולח, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לקראת כלה. פני שבת, פני שבת נקם.
Please be seated. We're on page 142 for Shalom Alechem. They say Shalom Alechem, it means may peace come to you. And I love how active that is, that peace isn't necessarily something that just happens, but peace is something that we actively try to bring about into our lives, into the world. So may peace come to you, may feelings of relaxation, of Shabbat, of angels accompanying to you, may it all come to you as we sing Shalom Alechem.
Shalom Alechem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise in body or in spirit. We are on page 146 for our Baruch Hu.
Lai 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam 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 Leolam
Turn to page 152 and we ask ourselves, what does it mean to listen as we say the Shema?
Shema Yisrael Adonai
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לו תותפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Amen. A lot of times when we tell the Exodus story, especially in this moment in the service, we focus on the miraculous, amazing Israelites crossing the sea. Everything was happy and beautiful and awesome. But we sometimes need to be reminded that what actually brought freedom for the Israelites was those 40 years of wandering and turning in different directions and going the wrong way in the desert. And I think that's how it is with a lot of issues that we hold close to our heart, whether it's reproductive justice or anything else. So much of the freedom that we seek is sought out not through that miraculous moment, but through the 40 years after of the wandering back and forth in the desert. And there can be miracles in that wandering too. So we are on page 158 for Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilo oseh felen nora tehilo Osei Felem Malchutecha Ra'u Banecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam Ze'eli Anu Ve'ameru Adonai Leholam
We turn to page 166 and we rise in body or in spirit for our Amidah.
Ananana sifatai tiftach Ananana ufi agid tehilatecha Ananana Adonai Ananana sifatai tiftach Ananana ufi agid Tehilatecha Adonai Adonai sifatai tiftach Adonai ufi agid tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Ata Rav Hoshia. Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'nemanat al Chayot HaKol, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Ata Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kdoshim B'Chol Yom Yehalelucha Salah. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We take a moment now, hoping for the expansiveness that can come from sitting quietly. I invite you to pray or reflect to yourself, and when you're done, if you're standing, you can be seated.
Shalom, Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Shalom, Shalom Yimroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
This week, 2 men were shot as they were leaving a synagogue where they were praying in Los Angeles. And miraculously, neither one of them was terribly hurt, which was just an incredible thing. And the next day, Guy Tayeb, who was one of the men, was back at services. He goes every day, and he went back the next day. And he said, "Why not? I'm Jewish, and I want to say thank you to God. It's normal for me." So as we pray Misha Berach, I hope that we can take in that kind of strength and resilience. We don't always all feel that kind of strength and resilience. That's kind of a whole other level. But when we have those moments where we experience the intense brokenness of the world, not just for ourselves, but for every single person in it, I hope that we can remember that there are moments of strength, and there are moments of resilience, and there are moments of healing. So if there's somebody who you're thinking of this week whose name you'd like to share out loud, for whom you're sending strength or healing, please say their name out loud as I pass my hand around the room. We turn to our Misha Berach. We are on page 677.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Misha Berach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Well, as we are at this point in the service and this time in our month, we invite all of those who are celebrating a birthday or who have celebrated a birthday in the month of February to please come. You see the cantors even showing you right where you can stand. We are so excited to be able to bestow this blessing upon you, just as you have blessed us with so much in your presence and your laughter and your wisdom. It's so fun to be able to bless you on this Shabbat.
This is a very
because
special
this
birthday
is the
line.
Shabbat
This is awesome.
that comes just before the month, the Hebrew month of Adar, which is our month of joy. And whenever we have a Shabbat that directly precedes the month of Adar, firstly, it's a special Shabbat. It's Shabbat Shekalim. But secondly, it's a month in which we pray that the joy that we will feel in the month of Adar that's coming just up here will start to really bestow us right now. That we don't want to wait for Adar to come to experience joy, but we want to be able to acknowledge the blessings that each month brings to us. And so on this Shabbat, we actually say special blessings that really can work for you here and also for all of us here, where we say, please God, may it be that the joys that are in our hearts and the hopes that are in our hearts be fulfilled for the good. May we find in ourselves the expansiveness that we seek, and may we find that matched by the expansiveness of others around us. May we find ourselves embraced with true joy, our lives a celebration just because we are who we are. And may it be in this coming year of life that we are able to not only be satisfied with the blessings we've been given, but understand that life is an adventure and a great blessing in and of itself. May you be blessed with good friendships. May you be blessed with loved ones who cherish you. May you be blessed with this community that appreciates you, enjoys you, and to whom you give so much just by you being you, and you are fantastic. And so in that way, we thank God that God has given you life, sustained you, and allowed all of us to reach this precious time. We sing the Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, happy
birthday! I got spontaneous applause. Who gets those? So this evening, I invite you to consider this sermon as an invitation to an expansive conversation and an expanding conversation. So this past Sunday morning, I was part of an adult education class in which we hosted Julia Watts-Belzer, a professor of Jewish studies and a core faculty member at Georgetown's Disability Studies program. And she taught us a class entitled Disability and the Politics of Healing. And as she presented to us, she shared these different texts that truly she was the perfect person to share with us because of not only her own experiences with having disabilities, but also because this is her area of specialty in an academic sense, and also because she has such an ability to understand Jewish texts and to find something new in them that adds new wisdom to our understanding. So she shared this extraordinary text, at least I found it extraordinary, you'll see for yourself, about Rabbi Zadok. And Rabbi Zadok was this great rabbi at the time of the Roman invasion that eventually made that Jerusalem and the temple fell in the year 70 of the Common Era. And so in this, we see this text about Rabbi Zadok in which Yochanan ben Zakkai, who was able to escape and then able to help others to escape from Jerusalem, where he's given an audience with Vespasian, the Roman emperor, and he has the ability then to save some people, including Rabbi Zadok. And so this is then the background that you need to know in order to understand a little bit about this text. Now, Rabbi Zadok had been fasting. He had been on this hunger strike since the Roman invasion, and so he was greatly enfeebled, and his strength had been diminished, and he had become disabled. So in Lamentations Rabbah, in this midrash, we hear that when Rabbi Zadok came into this area in which Rabbi Yochanan and Vespasian were sitting, Rabbi Yochanan rose up. And Vespasian said to Rabbi Yochanan, "You rise before this small, shriveled old man?" And Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "By your life, had there been one more like him, then even if you had double your troops, you wouldn't have been able to conquer Jerusalem." And Vespasian said to him, "Well, what's his strength?" And Rabbi Yochanan said, "He eats but a single fig, and he can teach 100 sessions on the Torah." And Vespasian said to Yochanan, "So why is he so reduced?" And Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "From his many fasts and self-afflictions." And Vespasian sent for doctors, and they fed Rabbi Zadok little by little and gave him drink little by little until his body was restored. So the scholar asked the participants in the class what we observed about the text. And one person spoke up and said, "They're talking about and around Rabbi Zadok when he was right there. He never had a voice in what he wanted, and yet there they were deciding for him what should happen." Now, the person who spoke up is a person with disabilities and too often has had their lives and their needs spoken of and around them, often as though they weren't right there. But what more could this text teach us if we centered the story on Rabbi Zadok himself, not on the people around him? Julie Watts-Belzer, the scholar, gave us an example in which she wrote this: "I imagine how Rabbi Zadok's son Eliezer used to bathe him. I linger with the gentleness there, with the physical act of tending. I like to think that there were things Zadok savored, like when the almond trees blossomed in the springtime. He knew they bloomed in part for him. I like to think he knew his life was counted, that he mattered, he was loved. I claim disability as part and parcel of that loving, a signature, an essential thread within his story." And this reminded me of a similar insight by the artist Titus Kaffer, an African American who looked at a painting by the Dutch Golden Age painter Frans Hals called "Family Group in Landscape." Have you seen this? So if you notice this, you can see that as you see this, you can see a family, you can see the hierarchy in this picture with the father up on top, the mother with a gold chain, the children, and the slave. And he shared that because of the compositional structure, because of the compositional hierarchy, it's hard to see other things. And then he said, historically speaking, in research on these kinds of paintings, I can find out more about the lace that the woman is wearing in this painting, the manufacturer of the lace, than I can about this character here, the slave boy. I can't hear about his dreams, about his hopes, about what he wanted out of life. So he repainted the painting, and what he did there is he covered the faces in linseed oil, which in time will become transparent. But in the meantime, it allows us for a recentering of a discussion of what is going on in the painting and asking questions about what is significant and who is significant. And so on this Shabbat, this kind of recentering invited me to re-examine our Torah text of this week. Now, across the country on this Shabbat, Shabbat Mishpatim, rabbis, cantors, educators, and lay leaders are speaking about access to reproductive health from the Bima. And we've been organized to do so by the National Council of Jewish Women, a 126-year-old organization that helped establish some of the first birth control clinics across the country. They have chosen this Shabbat because of one poignant verse. When two or more people fight, and one of them pushes a pregnant woman, and miscarriage results, the person responsible shall be fined according to the woman's husband. So now picture the image of this. I couldn't find any online. Who's in the foreground? Who's in the background? When we think about the hierarchy, Who's in the center? So let's just look at the beginning of the verse. When two or more people fight, and one of them pushes a pregnant woman, and a miscarriage results. Can you see who's in the foreground there? In the latter part of the verse, the person responsible shall be fined according to the woman's husband. Do you see who's in the foreground here? Now, this is in contrast to almost all later rabbinic texts that center their conversations and laws around abortion access on the needs of the pregnant person. The Mishnah that's most often cited is this: if a woman is having trouble giving birth, they abort it in the womb because her life comes before the life of the fetus. But if the greater part has come out, no one may touch the baby, for one may not set aside one person's life for the life of another. So who's at the center of this story? The pregnant person. She's in the foreground, in the compositional center. Now, if the greater part of the child has emerged from the womb, they share the foreground. But until that child has emerged, the fetus does not share the same status as the pregnant person. A fetus under 40 days, according to our tradition, is considered mere water. It has the precious potential for life. But for Jews, life qua life does not begin at conception. According to our tradition, after those 40 days, the fetus is considered part of the pregnant person's body, like a treasured limb. But that fetus is not considered a nephesh, a full person with a soul, until they have taken their first breath outside the womb. Almost all Jewish rabbinic discussions about abortion center on the needs of the pregnant person, physically and psychologically, and not hypothetically. Case by case, pregnant person by pregnant person, with that person in mind and in conversation, acknowledging that the pregnant person's ability to choose what's best for them is what carries the day. By centering the pregnant person's need, there are even times when a Jewish case law acknowledges a person's right to choose not to have an abortion, even when others are pressuring them to. I'll give you this example. A woman who has a terminal illness, and if she continues her pregnancy, continuing it would hasten her death, and the woman is beseeching not to have the abortion, and she does not care that the pregnancy will hasten her death, they should listen to her, and they can allow for that pregnancy to continue. Now, unfortunately, in our beloved country, many states do not center access to abortion on a pregnant person's needs. Too many pregnant people are denied the ability to make decisions that are right for them. And when we have secular laws that limit our ability to center the decision-making on the pregnant person, we lose. We lose the ability to acknowledge our faith that centers our laws on the needs of the pregnant person, and we lose the opportunity to provide them with support. By recentering the story on the pregnant person's need, we can understand how tough the decision can be, even when it's the right thing to do. By recentering the story on the pregnant person, we can respond by helping to provide for physical needs like healing kits, and emotional needs like just talking about it with a good friend or maybe even clergy, and spiritual needs. We have rituals that can provide comfort, like going to the mikveh, a ritual bath, and sharing poetry and prayers and acknowledging the pain and the healing. NCJW, the National Council of Jewish Women, chose this Shabbat to highlight for Repro Shabbat because of the verse from chapter 21, verse 22. But most Jews quote a different verse on Shabbat Mishpatim on this Shabbat, one of the most famous phrases from the entire Torah. You might recognize it because after receiving all kinds of laws at the foot of Sinai, with one voice in our Torah portion, the people responded, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will hear. On this Shabbat that values action and listening, let us have the courage and the will to center our stories and our laws on the person whose body is at stake. And with holiness and dignity, let us listen to their needs and respond. Shabbat Shalom. We have some announcements. And I think, Cantor, you might want to do the first one. It is your favorite group at the entire temple. And you love all of our groups, but get a special place in your heart for this one.
Every day I get closer and closer to being part of this group, and it's my favorite. IoT has a planning meeting on Thursday. It's our turn instead of it's our time? I think they both work. This is going to be at 5:30 p.m. online to talk about events and other exciting things that will be coming up in the spring social calendar. Oh, do you want me to keep going?
Well, sure.
Sholom Justice is What is Advocacy? That's at the same that's going to be after that at 7 o'clock. Also, that's Mixed Presence. That's Join the Fight for Justice in Illinois. Temple Sholom Advocacy Committee will be hosting a workshop and the opportunity to share your thoughts on what issues concern you. And
I love this, and it's how you can make a difference in 10 minutes or less.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Can I do the next one?
Please.
Okay. So a lot of Shabbats, I get the honor of announcing really exciting Makom or 20s and 30s events that are happening at like restaurants and bars and that kind of thing. And all the time after the service, somebody comes up to me and is like, Rabbi, why aren't you planning something like that for the whole entire congregation? And so I just want to say, put on your calendars, Thursday, where did it go? Thursday, March 6th, we are celebrating Purim. Monday, March 6th, we are celebrating Purim as a whole entire congregation. It's going to be the most fun night of your entire life. It's going to be an incredible banquet at Reza's in Andersonville with beautiful Persian food and music and drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, and storytelling. So you better be there. And you'll see there.
Yeah, we wouldn't miss it.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. I'm going to drink wine and chant from the Megillah, so
it's going to be amazing.
It's better than that.
Well, not only that, but Rabbi Singer promised us it's going to be the best nights of our lives, the best nights of our lives. Can't miss that.
And the early bird registration ends on this upcoming Friday, so sign up now. We'll see you there.
And I'll say that a week from tonight, we are going to be celebrating Shabbat with some very special guests, and those are our guests from our Chesed Circle. Juliana Schaefer of blessed memory inspired us to share her kindness, the way that she cared for friends and people in this community and way beyond this community. She's taught us so much, so in her memory, we have continued to follow in her legacy by being able to bring kindness to people who are struggling. And so we have this beautiful Chesed circle who is doing that for so many in our congregation and beyond. And so we are going to be celebrating Shabbat with them on this next Shabbat on Friday, February 24th, 6:15. We're already planning to be here. Now you just know there's even more reasons to come and celebrate Shabbat together. And that Sunday, wow, I was just waiting.
Great.
This Sunday, that Sunday, February 26th, so that the Sunday after that Friday, we're going to meet our president, that is our president Sherry Weil, to be able to ask her different questions about what's going on in the community, what she loves about being president, maybe what she's excited about by the end of her term, which ends June 30th. We can ask her all sorts of things. She's wonderful and wonderfully bright, and I think that morning should be a great opportunity. Again, at 9:30 in the morning, mixed presence. And finally, why don't you just rub our faces in it yet again?
I'm back to the 20s and 30s programming. We do have an extraordinary book club. So if you're in your 20s and 30s and you like books, and that you like books with Jewish themes, and you like talking about books with Jewish themes at a bar, then you should definitely join us, because this event is for you. It is our second book club meeting on Monday, February 27th at 6:30 at Wild Bar, and we're reading the book From Dust to Flame. And it's run by our amazing Robin Ashbach.
Woo!
Ooh,
That's going to be the
now.
second greatest night of your life.
True.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And with that, we turn to the bottom of page 586, where we find the words of Aleinu. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומורדים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 591. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. This past Monday, I saw many of you here as we were with our beloved Julie Adler and her family as they celebrated the life and mourned the loss of their mother, Adrian 80G Rosenberg. And so as we are still thinking about our beloved Julie, as we're still savoring those memories and stories we shared and heard about her that day, I brought a special poem because I know that it was written by a very good friend of Julie's from growing up, and I'm praying that it will bring all of us comfort as we hear it. This is a poem from Alden Solovey. Sorrow comes unbidden amidst the routines of our days and the joys of this life. How much loss can one endure? How much sorrow can one face? Grief has arrived, casting a pall over the joys that remain, even as we celebrate. We're overcome with distress, tragedy has struck. God of comfort, help us through this difficult time. Help us to be present for one another and find moments of calm and quiet, perhaps finding moments of joyous memory and laughter, even as we struggle together. And so on this Shabbat, we Send our condolences to the families who recently lost loved ones, people who are still serving Shloshim the first 30 days after the death of their loved ones. Tonight we are remembering Adrian 80 G. Rosenberg, Jerry Weinstein, Jed Snyder, and Sonia Olex. We're also marking the yard site of Martin Alderman, Lillian Altbach, Trina Brickman, Florence Cohen, Estelle Colin, Herbert Dern, Mark Durst, Lawrence Elegant, Ernest Egrebretson, Morris A. Feldman, Jason Fistel, Blanche Dworsky Greenberg, Judith Halpern, Janella Herelick, Ruth Horwitz, Robert Carmel, Sarah Levy, Joseph Levy Jr., Beatrice Lichter, Marshall Pador, Philip Hector, Kay Quinlan, Joseph B. Rabin, Sandra Gladstone Roth, Richard Rudish, David C. Ruttenberg, Rose Salas, Louis Schneider, Dr. Morris J. Schneider, Dennis Shapiro, Morris Schatz, Maxine Simon, Joel Stern, Lillian S. Tukinski, Carl Welker, Gussie Wolf, and Lila D. Wolf. If there are others whom you are remembering, I invite you to share their name. Kadisha Tome is on page 598. In body and spirit, we rise.
Yit gadal v'yit kadash meraba, v'alma divrach yirute v'amlich malchute, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach leolam ulamei almaya, v'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemed kursha leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru yehesh lama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru oseh shalom imromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Oseh shalom imromav v'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Cantor, are we going to conclude in that beautiful place that we began?
Yes. So if you want to, you can turn to page 129 again, or page 11 for others. And again, this sweetness of, as we keep Shabbat, God watches over us. Ki yeshmer Shabbat el yishmereni. Ki yeshmer Shabbat el yishmereni. Oti leomei beino uveini.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. If you are in Makom and you're joining us for Shabbat dinner, please meet us right over by Robin, who's waving her hand, and we'll walk over to our Shabbat dinner together.
If you would like to unmute, you are now able to unmute.
Shabbat
Thank
Shalom.
you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat
How's
Shalom.
the weather in Florida?
Good.
Hugo wants to say Shabbat Shalom.
I see the doggies are there. They're hungry, I think.
Yeah, they're ready for Motzi.
Yeah, they know what the word means.
Yep.
They love challah
They love
Do
challah.
they?
Ooh.
with a little
Sounds
butter
smart dogs.
With a little butter. Just a
or a
little butter.
lot.
No chopped liver.
No.
No, not now, but
No. The holidays
Not
we
for
have.
the dogs.
At the holidays we have chopped liver.
Ah, special. Nice to see you guys.
Good to see everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Have a good week.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Well,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Nice to
Shalom.
see you. Ah,
Hi, Terry. Stay well,
Nice to see you.
everyone.
you too.
Dropping
All right.
like flies.
All right, everyone, take care.